The film begins in a classroom where everything seemed completely normal. Yuko, the class teacher, gives milk to all the children, and the children quickly drink the free milk, except for a few mischievous boys who spilled the milk on the floor. But Yuko didn't care at all because she only wanted to take revenge on the two students who were in the class. Actually, she had mixed something in the milk. When she saw those two students drinking all their milk, she became very relaxed. Then she slowly went back to her place and quietly told her students that this was their last class. As soon as the bell rings, she will resign for good. The students were overjoyed and started shouting loudly. They thought they had driven Yuko away by harassing her. They were very happy. Yuko wasn't sad either. She already knew about this whole reaction. Now, she steps forward and closes the classroom door so that their noise doesn't disturb the other classes. But that wasn't the real reason for closing the door. The real reason was that she didn't want anyone outside to hear what she was about to say to the children. She wrote "Fate" in large letters on the board. The sound of the chalk was so loud that the whole class fell silent upon hearing it. Yuko now came down from the stage and began to teach her final lesson. She tells everyone today, "I will tell you what the purpose of life is." To explain this concept, she starts telling the story of her own life, saying that when she got married, a short while later she found out that her husband was cheating on her, and because of that, he had contracted AIDS. By the time Yuko found this out, she was already pregnant. The marriage broke up because of this, but Yuko still gave birth to her daughter. As soon as she finished these words, the girl sitting closest to Yuko immediately held her breath. She was afraid that the HIV virus might reach her through the air. The girl sitting behind her started bad-mouthing her and said that the teacher and her daughter should be kicked out of the school immediately. Then Yuko explained to them that HIV is not spread through the air. Even a normal handshake poses no risk of contracting the disease. She says that she was lucky too. She herself was saved from AIDS, and thus, her daughter did not fall victim to AIDS either. Upon hearing this, the students breathe a sigh of relief. But what Yuko says next shocks everyone. She explains that her daughter had died a few months ago, but the cause of her death was not AIDS. She had drowned in the school's closed swimming pool. She says that there was a police investigation. The police also thought that the death was caused by drowning in the swimming pool. But despite all that, I know that my daughter was murdered. And I also know about my daughter's murderers. They are sitting right here in this class. Both of them committed this crime together. They killed my daughter. But I won't tell you their names right now. For now, let's call them Student A and B so the story can be completed. Alright, then I'll tell you how my daughter died. A few months ago, I was shopping with my daughter. My daughter stopped when she saw a bunny wallet in the mall. She liked it very much and started insisting that I buy it for her. But because I had just paid the bills last month, I didn't have enough money. I started explaining to my daughter that I couldn't get it for her, and that we would get it next month. Now, by coincidence, Student A was at the same mall with his mom. He overheard this conversation. The next day, Student A bought the exact same purse and gave it to Yuko's daughter. Student B was also with him. Now, B lied to my daughter, saying that I had bought this wallet for her. Now, my daughter was just a little, innocent girl. The poor thing happily took the purse. But as soon as she held it, she got a strong electric shock because the purse was electrified. A device had been placed inside it that could give someone an electric shock. Although the shock was mild, and no one could die from it, Student B got very scared. He thought the little girl was dead. Student A knew that the little girl wasn't dead. B thought the girl was dead, and was now also afraid that his name might come up in the case. To avoid the police and a scolding from his mom and dad, he picked up my daughter and threw her into the pool, so that everyone would think it was just an accident. I have to admit that B's plan was very good. The police really didn't find any evidence against them, but I did because I found that purse near the pool, and inside it, I also found the electric shock device, and that confirmed my suspicion, because a few days before this incident, those two boys had tried to prank me with the same purse and the same device. I had said that this was his very special invention. The boy had named his invention the anti-theft wallet. He said it shocks thieves, scaring them off. But wanted his invention to go to the science exhibition. But I stopped him because the current in it was too high. Meaning, the voltage of the current inside the wallet was very high. If the person holding the wallet had wet hands, this current could have an even more dangerous effect. And it was for safety reasons that I rejected A's application. But I didn't know that the boy was so brazen that after I rejected his application, he would go to the principal and get it signed. Now look at student A's luck. Neither the principal nor the other people and judges at the competition paid attention to the fact that this experiment was very dangerous and had no safety measures at all. Student A won the competition. Student A also won the Best Idea award. He thought that because of his invention, he would become famous all over the world. But the news about him was only printed in a small corner of the newspaper. When he read the newspaper headlines, there was a story about a 13-year-old girl who had killed her entire family. Basically, Student A wanted to be famous, and this news drove him crazy. He saw that no matter how much he contributed to science, he wasn't getting as much recognition as those who committed crimes. I don't know what kind of scheme he started cooking up in his mind. At first, he had no friends. Then he made Student B his friend. Student B was the class's strangest boy. He wasn't a good student, didn't socialize, and worst of all, a coward. And on top of that, I had caught Student B playing games at a video game shop one day. He was playing games after skipping school, so I made him clean the area around the swimming pool. From that day on, Student B has hated me. When Student A and B spend some time together, they realize that they both hate me, Teacher Yuko, and they both make my daughter their victim to vent their anger. Student A had deliberately increased the voltage of that wallet that day so that my daughter would get a strong shock. The point of this whole story is that there are two students in this class, A and B, who killed my daughter, and I want to get revenge on them. I wanted to do all this legally, so I had the case reopened. But then I found out that according to Japanese law, even if I won the case, the children would not be punished because they are under 14 years old. They would be sent to a reform school for their rehabilitation, but they would be released from there quickly too. Yuko knew the nature of both those students well, so she didn't think that such a small punishment would be enough for them. Yuko says to everyone, "Look, children, I am a teacher. Besides teaching from books, it is also my duty to make you good human beings. So, in the same way, I took it upon myself to make them good human beings and teach them a lesson. That's why I planned something new. I took my husband's HIV-positive blood and put it in both of those children's milk, and I saw that both of them drank every last drop. Soon, both of them will contract HIV and develop AIDS." The whole class understood who Miss Yuko was talking about. There was only one kid in the class who was an inventor, and everyone knew his friend too. Miss Yuko still doesn't name them and says that those two children should remember to get their blood tested in 3 months. The HIV virus takes 2 to 12 months to mature. Until then, they will have plenty of time to think about their evil deeds and ask for forgiveness for them. Just as Yuko says this, the bell rings and Yuko's last class ends. The class was over, but Yuko's revenge had just begun. The new semester starts a few days later. A new teacher comes to the class. This teacher was very young and, unlike Yuko, he quickly bonded with the children. The teacher notices that all the children were coming to school regularly and their behavior was normal, but one child was continuously absent. The children say that his name is Naoki and he is under a lot of stress, which is why he doesn't come to school. The teacher finds this quite strange and explains to the children that we should take care of our classmates in every way. That's why he has all the children write prayer notes and then goes to Naoki's house. They didn't just do this once. The teacher and the class monitor started going to Naoki's house every week to encourage him to come back to school. Every time they tried to meet Naoki, but Naoki's mom would put them off with some excuse. She neither let them meet Naoki nor told them what had happened to him. We see that after Yuko's last class, he had completely changed. He always kept himself locked in his room. Whatever he touched, he would wash it 100 times. But despite all that, he wouldn't bathe. Seeing Naoki in this state, his mom became very worried. She couldn't bear to see her filthy son anymore. So one day she gives Naoki sleeping pills. As soon as he falls asleep, she cuts his hair, clips his nails, gives him a good bath, and dresses him in clean clothes. As soon as Naoki wakes up from his sleep, he starts screaming loudly. His body odor was gone. His hair was neatly cut. His room was very clean. He was now starting to go crazy. He screams loudly, breaks things in his room, and Naoki's mom doesn't understand why he is doing this. Now Naoki's mom started to feel that whenever any teacher or child from his school came home, Naoki's angry outbursts would get even worse. That's why she forbids the teacher and every student from coming to her house. But despite all this, Naoki's mom wanted to know why he was so afraid of these notes. She lays all the notes out in front of her, and she is shocked to see that combining of first words of all the notes spelled out die, murderer. What was all this? When Naoki's mom couldn't understand anything, she ran to her son to find out the truth. This time, Naoki doesn't hide anything from his mom and tells her the whole story of Yuko's daughter's murder. He also confesses that as soon as I picked up Yuko's daughter to throw her in the pool, she regained consciousness. I also realized that she was alive, but I was afraid that the girl would tell everyone about me, so I threw her in the pool, and I am the one who murdered that girl. I thought that if I didn't do it, even my friend would think I was a coward. I just wanted to look cool, and that's why I did it all. Hearing the truth, his mom felt as if the sky had fallen on her head. She falls to the ground in fear. She couldn't believe that her son, who wasn't even 12 years old yet, was a murderer, a killer. Naoki tries to explain his situation to her, but his mom leaves him and goes away. A few days pass in stress like this, after which she decides that she will kill herself and her son, who is spreading evil in this society. She writes a note for her husband, after which she takes a knife and goes to her son's room. As per her routine, she hugs her son, says loving things to him, and then secretly stabs her knife into his chest. But the knife hadn't gone all the way into his chest. Naoki got angry seeing that his own mom wanted to kill him. He flew into a rage, pulled the knife out of his body, and attacked his mother with it. She died. After this angry attack, as soon as Naoki regained consciousness, he became even more upset to see that he had now murdered his own mom. He was now consumed with the guilt of killing not one, but two people. On the other hand, Watanabe, who had made the anti-theft wallet, was also in trouble because he was suspected of having HIV. The classmates always bothered him, but despite all this, Watanabe was never rude to them. One day, when he got fed up with all these things, he cut one of his fingers in anger. And by showing the blood coming out of it, he started scaring the other kids, saying that if you bother me now, I will put this blood on you and infect you with HIV too. Seeing this, the class monitor also sides with Watanabe, so the kids start bullying the monitor too, and they force her to kiss Watanabe so that she gets infected. Today, even the class monitor was upset, but when she started to go home, Watanabe stopped her on the way. He shows her his HIV report, which was negative. He tells her that he didn't have AIDS. So, you don't worry either. Nothing will happen to you. The two of them start talking here, and the class monitor finally asks Watanabe why he did all that. Watanabe begins his story and explains that my mom was a very great scientist, but the man she married, meaning my dad, had a very low IQ. She couldn't discuss her research with my dad. And then during all this, I was born, and because of me, my mom had to give up all her research. As I grew older, Mom started to regret her decision. Because to her, I seemed like a very average child, and she couldn't accept the reality that such a great scientist could have a child of average, normal intelligence. For this reason, my mom started to hate me. She also began to feel that by giving birth to me, she had given up her entire career, which she didn't even need to do. Because of such negative thoughts, she would often beat me, and for a long time, my dad didn't even know about it. As soon as my dad found out about these things, he immediately divorced my mom. Mom also took the alimony money and started her research again, and she didn't even remember that she had a son. Although I love my mom very much, I always had a wish for my mom to meet me, and in this desire, I went so crazy that I started doing all the things my mom liked. I made new inventions and started uploading them to the website where my mom also worked. I hoped that my mom would notice me someday, but that never happened either. He tells the class monitor another strange thing. The day I found out I had drunk the HIV-laced milk, I didn't cry. In fact, I was happy. I went to the bathroom and laughed like a maniac because I thought that when I got sick, my mom would come to see me at least once. I got tested as soon as the 3 months were over, but the test report came out negative. Now I felt again that I would have to try to meet my mom myself. At first, my post got 0 views. Then I adapted a new method and tortured animals with these inventions of mine to show that my inventions could also be used to torture thieves. People couldn't see my motive, but they did see me torturing animals, and they started to like it. Suddenly, my post started getting a lot of views and comments. I thought this was how I would become famous, and then I started posting like that on the website, but it was still no use. Even after today's post, my mom didn't notice me. After hearing this whole story, the class monitor starts to sympathize with him, and the two become friends. Anyway, the class monitor also goes home from here, but she leaves her diary right there with Watanabe. As soon as Watanabe reads her diary, he goes into shock. After learning that the class monitor was actually in league with teacher Yuko, both the class monitor and the new teacher took money from Yuko, and that's why they had all the children write notes and went to Naoki's house. In those notes, it was the class monitor who used to highlight the letters spelling the murderer. After learning all this truth through the diary, Watanabe becomes even more scared and comes to believe that no one in this world is trustworthy. And now he also starts to fear that the class monitor might have become his friend only at Yuko's behest, and wonders if she also wants to take Yuko's revenge on Watanabe. The next day, as soon as the class monitor comes to meet him in the old lab his mom had built, Watanabe starts getting angry at her, because he had read the diary. Upon hearing this, the class monitor told him the whole plan. Every single word she spoke was piercing Watanabe's heart. How could it be that there was no one in the world who loved him? He gets so angry at the class monitor now that he picks up a big knife and brutally kills her, and then uses the same knife repeatedly to cut her body into pieces. And he makes a video of all this, after which he freezes all of the class monitor's body parts in the freezer. From then on, whenever he opened the fridge, he would very respectfully say hi to the dead class monitor. By this time, he wasn't even afraid of the fact that he had murdered another girl as well, because he knew that according to Japanese law, he would not be punished at this age. That's why he now makes a video of himself and tells everything he did in that video. He also reveals that he has now made a bomb, which he will plant at school the next day on annual day. He knows he will get an award on annual day, and as soon as he gets it, he will detonate this bomb. He wants his mom to at least know through this video that her son is not worthless, but, like her, a very good scientist. After setting a timer and uploading this video, he also plants the bomb at the school. According to the plan, the next day, after his speech, when all the children are clapping, he presses a button on his mobile phone to which the bomb was connected. But nothing happens here. Seeing this, he gets worried and comes out of the auditorium. And this is where he meets Yuko. Yuko kept an eye on his every move. She also read all the blogs he posted on his website and watched all the videos. And it was from them that Yuko found out he was going to install a bomb in the school the next day, which is why Yuko had already disposed of the bomb and saved all the children's lives. Now Yuko says to Watanabe, "You're doing all this just to get your mom's attention. Right, but your mom doesn't even want to hear your name. I went to meet her this morning. I also gave her this gift and said that you sent it. But she didn't even open it, and now, as soon as you pressed this bomb's button, it exploded there in your mom's office. If your mom had loved you and opened that gift, she would have known there was a bomb in it. But her hatred for you killed her. And here your actions have taken away everything you wanted in life. And now you will live with this agony for the rest of your life." All these words from Yuko were making Watanabe's head split. His nose started bleeding, and he began to scream loudly while sitting among all the children. By tormenting him in this way, Yuko's revenge was also complete. So she leaves from there. And with all this, the movie ends here.